Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability. Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. Today I have a gentleman with me who is a brilliant scientist, engineer, and has done many things, Ray Caamano, and am I pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Thank you for joining me today. And before we get started on KLD, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
I'm pretty much a self-taught engineer. Got out of high school a little early, and I had a business at that time to fixing and repairing Volkswagens. So I did that for several years, learned a lot about mechanics. I've come from a long line of mechanics and machinists, and ended up living and learning in an environment that had all kinds of mechanical things going on all the time. So. And I progressed from that into buying property, building homes, and did that for a while, and then did a few technology startups as well. And KLD being somewhere around the third technology startup that I've done.
And you're a Bay Area person originally,
yes,
or
I
from
am.
somewhere
else? I was born in Marin County, and first year of my life went to Cupertino, and then stayed in South San Jose, and now I live up by Mount Madonna.
Nice. And your R&D is down in Morgan Hill, and
yes,
your offices are in Austin.
Yes.
And so, how did you get involved with KLD? What was the creative or the light that kind of came on, and you guys developed this?
Well, for me personally, I've been involved in high efficiency motor technology since probably like the mid 80s. So I've been doing this almost 30 years, utilizing new materials breakthroughs in motors, and I have quite a few patents in motors. Just very interested in how we can use less energy to do more things. And
we're going to bring up the first slide here, who's I think this one's of your team, yeah, and then there's the map of one of your graphic people sent this to me, and it was a lot better than my map of the United States. And you've got the two locations, and of course the green, wearing your green today.
Thank you.
So you and the other founder worked together originally?
Yes.
And so
we were working together in a product development company that had I had worked for that was out here in Oakland, and then the boss had moved it to his home state of Texas, and I came to Texas every week on the Nerdbird out of San Jose International, and I used to commute to Austin, Texas every week. And then I met Christian, who's our CEO at this technology startup. It was for consumer products, and that's how we kind of formed a relationship, and he became aware of my motor patents and technology. And when he left that startup, he approached me, hey, I'd really like to do something with your motors and your patents, and so we formed a relationship and eventually formed KLD Energy.
And so he's still there.
Yes.
And you're here.
Yes.
And I'm really interested in the technology. It's things that are going to, I think, change the way we drive, the way we go places. And we were at Costco this morning, and we were looking at how they're putting in where BART's going to be, and there's got to be different things that we do for commuting.
Right.
And so the sustainable propulsion I'm not even going to say it right. Propulsion technology
right.
Is one of the things. Do you want to talk about that and explain that to us? And
yeah. Well, in every vehicle, I mean, there's that feeling of what is it that pushes you? Something's pushing you. So that feeling, that is called the propulsion technology, and that is the thing that consumes energy, whether it be a motor system, the battery, motor controllers, and those are so that's the system that we focused on, because I saw personally a great deal of improvement that was available to us by utilizing some of the breakthroughs in material sciences that have happened in the last maybe 50 years. So even in traditional electric cars, even the ones that look brand new today that we see on the road, still are using 100-year-old motor technology that was patented over 100 years ago. So what KLD's technology is something quite a bit newer than that, utilizing thin film core materials, neodymium magnets, some breakthroughs that have happened in material sciences are incorporated in our motors, which makes us a little different than everybody else.
And it's interesting because the electric vehicles used to be, that was kind of the starting point, and then now it's back to it again. So it's kind of full circle that it's like, oh, maybe we should have stuck with this, right?
Yeah. Well, at the time, at the turn of the century, there was really not a way to have a lot of energy stored in batteries. And where gasoline and liquid fuels offered a lot more energy density, a lot more longer distances that you could drive. So that's why we eventually migrated over in the early part of the century to liquid fuels. But now we've seen, the downfall or in some of the downside of liquid fuels, and there's many of them, and we consume quite a bit, over 20 million barrels a day here in the United States. And there's geopolitical implications, there's environmental implications, and there's the question of how long is it going to last. So we need to do something new.
So let's pull up the next slide now, and so explain this here.
Well, this is the three components of the propulsion technology. Over on the left there you have the battery, which is a Samsung cell battery with lithium. Quite a bit of energy in that box there. To the right, the green thing is the motor controller. It's the electronic brain that actually takes the energy from the battery and makes that big thing in the middle with the two round shiny things, those things turn the wheels. And so the combination of those things is a suite of the system, as we call it, the thing that pushes the vehicle down the road, all three pieces together.
Cool, we'll pull that down. So now you're changing then propulsion technology a little bit from how it's been used in the past, and can you explain that in the application with the auto industry and electric vehicles?
With our technology, the emphasis is on what is the most extreme efficiency that we can achieve. And what I decided a long time ago, in being involved in solar car racing, that was where all the new technology was happening. In 1996, I actually went to Australia for the World Solar Challenge with one of my motors, and it was a tremendous learning experience about, what does it really take to be as efficient? What's the cutting edge of efficiency? And what it really is all the motors were, driving the wheels directly in those cars. And so I made a decision. I was going to make a motor that would drive the wheels directly. But also, what was even unique about the time I was there in 1996 is I was the only inventor that had actually utilized breakthrough in some of the materials that are in the motor, more than anybody else that was in Australia at the time. So I knew I had a proprietary edge, and so my history in motors has been exploiting these peak, very high efficiency breakthroughs in material science in motors to give us the ultimate in efficiency.